What's up, YouTube? We are back with another amazing video. This month, we are talking all about how breastfeeding can benefit the fathers. We hear so often that breastfeeding is great for moms and great for babies, but it's also great for dads, and I want to show you how. So I want to say, welcome back. Hey mama, hey papa, welcome back to this channel. And I want to say that I am so excited to jump into this content this month because it is so crucial that we include fathers because they can oftentimes be the best advocates for mothers who are wanting and willing to breastfeed their babies. My name is Vanessa Simmons. I am the founder and photographer of the Normalize Breastfeeding movement. I'm also a certified lactation educator and counselor. So I want to take a moment to just say thank you. Thank you to all of you who have subscribed to this channel. Thank you for watching our videos and liking the content and continuing to comment and let us know what you like and what you want to see more of. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I want you to know it's free. Jump right in there, hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications so that you get a notification every time our videos are published. All right, so let's jump into it. Today, we're talking about benefits of breastfeeding for dad. And this is a month-long series, so make sure if you're a dad that you subscribe, and if you're a mom, if you go ahead and take this video and share it with the baby's father, because it is time for them to learn how this can be a lifetime return on their investment. So I want to talk a little bit about what that investment looks like, because for fathers, when you support the breastfeeding experience, it's a return on your investment for an entire lifetime. And those different returns look like connection between you, your partner, and your baby, involvement between you and your baby, creating that bonding experience, support in the same regard, supporting the mother of your child who is feeding this baby, and also advocacy. You are your breastfeeding mom's biggest advocate. And so I want to show you how. So let's start with connection. A lot of times, fathers are excited to meet the baby for the first time. While the baby's in the womb, there can be this feeling that they're not quite sure how everything's going to go with the pregnancy, and they're not sure how everything's going to go with the birth. But once the baby's born, all that father wants to do is wrap that baby up in their arms and hold them and see them and kiss them and just experience them, because mom has been experiencing this baby, kicking inside, moving around for the last 9 months. And so immediately fathers have a desire to see their baby. It doesn't matter what the situation is, their desire is there. It's whether that desire is supported or not. In this way, we want to create the space for the fathers to connect to their baby. And talking to the dads, this is your opportunity to practice some of the things that also mom can practice when she's establishing breastfeeding. That would look like skin to skin, right? Changing diapers, helping with whatever needs to be helped with in order to make sure that mother and baby are comfortable while they are feeding. The connection that you create with your newborn is going to last for a lifetime, but it starts with you, and it starts with your partner creating that space for you to be that support, okay? Your desire to connect with your newborn is normal, and there are many ways your presence will make a difference in your baby's life. So be intentional. Make it a point to be there. Even if the relationship is having some difficulties, even if you're not quite sure what you're doing, it's okay. We don't know what we're doing either. This is the time for you to show up and show out for your baby so that that bond is created with them and no one can take that away. You know, the International Breastfeeding Journal did a study and they explored how dads can make a difference. It was a story between mothers and fathers talking about the experience that fathers had. And it's interesting because as they did this study, the women were saying, well, yeah, the dads do make a difference. We need them around. But the fathers were saying that they just wanted to be involved, right? And so looking at this from a different perspective, the father's feeling in this matter, it matters. It matters that they want to be involved, but sometimes they don't feel like they're invited to be involved. Sometimes they don't know what role they need to take on in order to be a big impact and support in this situation. And so I love this because while mothers wanted to hear things like encouragement to do their best and to be, to be committed to this for the baby, fathers just really wanted to have more relevant information. They wanted to know more about learning the role of supporting breastfeeding, and they wanted to know how to be an advocate for their partner. Obviously, because they know that breastfeeding is the great thing for their baby. They know that it's nutritious. They know that it's going to give them what they need. And because of this, they want to step into that role of advocating for the mother of their child. You know, it's important to your baby, and I'm talking to dad. It's important to your baby that your energy toward breastfeeding is positive, right? Your baby is going to be experiencing something brand new. They're going to be learning how to eat from the mother, but they need to feel that positive, supportive energy. You're felt by your baby. They can feel your energy. So make sure that when you are helping and supporting, that you're not feeling like you're missing out. This is a time where mothers and babies have to create a special bond that allows them to be able to feed in this way. This is also a time for you to show gratitude. Gratitude that the mother is willing to breastfeed, gratitude that your baby is trying and that your baby is healthy and that your baby is strong, gratitude for the experience. So let's talk about involvement. I know that this can sound like it's only geared toward parents who are married, but let's talk about the co-parenting experience for a moment. While I have not co-parented and I am married, I want to just speak to those who are single and co-parenting and trying to attempt to breastfeed. A lot is going on in and around your relationship while this baby is being born and while you are discovering these new things about your body and feeding this baby. However, it is important that as we make mothers and babies the center of this work, that we also look at the fathers and how they can be made useful and valuable in these situations. There's never a time that a mother does not need the father. And this has been something that has been perpetuated in our community, is that a woman doesn't need a man. Well, I can tell you right now, based on studies around the world, every mother that has breastfed and has had the support of the father of their baby has always been grateful for it. So it's important to look at the fact that the involvement of the father really is based around how involved the mother wants him to be. And as mothers decide that they don't want fathers to be involved, they're really damaging and keeping their baby from creating and developing a well-rounded and full future. So I just want to say that it's important that fathers are involved. It's important that we as mothers create space for them to be involved, and that we get them the information they need, help them to learn the roles that they have to step into as this baby's father, and also help them to learn how to be an advocate for us in these situations. Because your desire to feed your baby, dad, talking to dad, your desire to feed your baby is normal. But let's remember that expressing milk for a bottle feeding early on can disrupt the natural process of establishing a good breast milk supply. Okay, we talked about this in a previous video. So it's very important that you know that you have a role in this, but it's not feeding the baby this early in life. Right now, it's about mother and baby establishing that breastfeeding so that her supply is strong. And you are learning how to support that so that way she can in turn invest that time and nursing into your child so that your child can receive that nourishment and receive that nurturing. It's so crucial to the relationship you'll have with your baby. You know, there's another study that was done, and it's so interesting. They talked to the fathers about their real feelings about breastfeeding, and it got really interesting. One man said, they're born to get breastfed, and it's a mixed method study that talks a little bit about some different aspects of what fathers felt. And the number one thing was that they felt that it was healthy and they felt that it was natural. But it also said that the fathers who were aware that this was a benefit for their baby, they seemed to be less aware of the exclusive breastfeeding links between breastfeeding and health outcomes. In our very first video of this weekly series, we jump into talking about the health benefits. And the health benefits for your baby are closely tied to that baby receiving exclusively milk from the breast, from the tap, in order to help that health outcome come to pass. So I think that in this process, fathers, it's important that you learn more about what it means to have a baby that is exclusively breastfed, and learn more about how you can support it so that you can provide the best possible and supportive scenario for your baby. Because your baby's health is forever. And this is the number one time to enable your baby to be able to invest into their health. So we want to think about that as we consider that you might be feeling like you want to feed your baby. Right now is not the time. Right now, it's more about allowing mother to establish that supply so that they can get a good run at making milk and then eventually expressing the milk for you to be able to help with bottle feeding in the future. It's important to your baby, dad, that you study the benefits of exclusively breastfeeding and long-term breastfeeding for them. Not for you, not for mom, but for them. So that way you can be the best support you can be in this process. So we want to jump into support and what that looks like, because support is something that fathers want to do, but sometimes they just don't know how to do it, right? And so we want to talk about what that support looks like. One of my favorite things that my husband used to do when I was nursing our baby, there would be times where I had to get up, I had to go to the restroom, right? I had to jump into the shower, and he would take our baby and just lay the baby skin to skin on his chest. Sometimes the baby would be fully clothed, sometimes skin to skin, and that would give him the opportunity to really connect with baby and give him a chance to kind of look at him and kiss him or play with her and stroke her and create that bonding effect, right? We talked about this in the bonding and nurturing section between mom and baby. This supportive role is just that for fathers. And we'll talk more about bonding and nurturing in the future. So it's important that, fathers jump into that role, because your feelings about not knowing much about breastfeeding or not knowing how to support it, they're normal, right? And so now is the time to begin to learn and grow together. Now is the time for you as a family unit, married or not. It's a time as a family unit for you to come together and support one another in this way for your baby. Your baby deserves it. Your baby deserves to grow in a healthy and happy environment. So there's another study that was done by the National Library of Medicine. And this study is called Fathers' Experiences and Perspectives on Breastfeeding. And it was really interesting because fathers really had a struggle with finding a space for themselves to be an important member of that breastfeeding team, right? It's challenging, and it made some men feel inadequate. It made them feel like they were kind of secondary to their partner and that they didn't really have a lot of knowledge or belief that their concerns mattered. And so this study really talks specifically to healthcare practitioners, and it talks to them about how important it is for them to explicitly give information to the men, to the fathers, so that they can better support the mother and baby in this way. And I love the dialogue that was created because they were able to talk a little bit about the fathers normalizing their attempt to express their feelings and express what they were going through. And this allowed them to create an opportunity to form rituals and routines around how they can bond with their baby, like bathing the baby, changing the diapers, making sure that there was one-on-one time after the feeding, making sure that there was some one-on-one time before bedtime, so that the fathers were involved, but also they had a routine, right? The fathers were there and creating that bond, making it stronger early on in infanthood. So it's important to your baby, Dad. It's important that you establish a bonding routine after the feedings and before bedtime so that you can establish that infant father-baby bond. And so the last one is advocacy. Dad, I want you to remember that you are this mother and baby's greatest advocate. You are the one who can speak for them when they are not sure of what's going on. You're the one who can step in and find out those key details because you're there, right? You're seeking to be involved. You're creating a harmonious space where you can support this mother and baby bond. And so I want you to remember that you have your child's whole life to bond with them, and the requirements of your involvement will change with time. So right now, you might feel secondary because the mother is with the baby all the time, but just know that as time goes on, that bond will grow stronger and stronger as you continue to step into a place of providing that routine and harmonious space for the mother and baby to continue and establish breastfeeding and continue going on longer as it be necessary for your baby and partner's health. This is one of my favorite parts of this video because Dr. Jack Newman is an amazing pediatrician in Canada, and there's this article on the website breastfeeding.support, and they talk about custody and breastfeeding. And what I love about this so much is that, Dr. Jack Newman is a man, so he understands the role of breastfeeding, and he's also a pediatrician, so he understands it from a health perspective. He talks about a child's need of his father, and he talks about how even at 6 months, 19 months, or 3 years of age, he's not suggesting in any way that the father not have appropriate access to his child. However, forcing the child to stop breastfeeding, even if the demand is not explicitly stated, is not appropriate. This is an excerpt out of his book, Dr. Jack Newman's Guide for Breastfeeding. Pick that book up if you get an opportunity, and I'll link it in the description below. He talks a little bit about how it's important for you to be involved, and it's also important for you not to want to break that bond. So this is speaking to the fathers. Now, you know that custody might be an issue, but what is the greater investment in your baby's life? It's going to be that breast milk. It's going to be that way of connecting your baby to the family and to the rest of the community and the world. Okay, so Dr. Jack Newman got this right. And I love the fact that as a man, he was able to really state the facts on what it means for breastfeeding and custody battles. So, Dad, it's important to be present, to provide them with a positive influence in life. And remember that bond will grow over time. That bond will change over time. And so your involvement will look different at every stage. It's important to just desire to be involved and make it very clear to your spouse or partner that you want to be involved, and then create that routine that shows that your desire is real. This has been another amazing video. I am so excited about this work and excited about these videos because it's giving you another opportunity to connect with one another. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Let us know if you like the content, if you want to see something different, and I will get back to you. We've got more amazing content coming up for you in just a moment. Have a great one.